I
Hello.
hope you can use my headphones too. I really hope that's going to be the case because I'm sitting in an airport lounge
I,
and
I can hear you. Can you like hear me fine as well?
I can hear you very well, but I cannot see your face. Sorry about that.
Oh, yeah, that seems to happen when we join from like if someone's on Apple and the other person's on Android, it just like doesn't work properly. I'm not sure
It's
why.
okay.
Yeah,
If everybody
Instagram's
can
so
see
glitchy.
me and if you can hear me, let's just go. Let's do it.
Yeah, can everyone see Katya and can everyone hear both of us? Um, Let us know. That would be so awesome. So
You
yeah,
you have
first of
some
all,
pranksters on the chat. People, I see some people saying, asking how do we like chicken, or asking if I'm on drugs. I'm drug tested with urine after every competition, especially when I win. So in case people are curious about that, they can read the USAPL rules and guidelines, and that will answer their questions.
yeah, something tells me that none of these trolls could beat you in a powerlifting competition, Katya. So, um,
Read the phone.
right, cool. So, if you could introduce yourself to the audience, just
Okay.
let everybody know a bit about like who you are and what you do, please.
Yeah, of course. So I am a natural powerlifting athlete. I have started competing and I entered the sport as an adult. So if people think like, oh yeah, you've been training your whole life, that's not the case with me. I started training when I was 20, I guess powerlifting specifically, in my mid 20s. I'm originally from Russia, which is where I'm going right now. I'm going to go hang out with family. Finally, it's been 3 years, so I'm really happy about that. So yeah, I've been competing in powerlifting since 2021. I do coach powerlifters as well. I coach vegans and I coach women. So if you want to get strong, I have a lot of free resources in my link in bio that you can just download and start to enter the sport. Um, the reason they're free is because there's lack of vegans and women in the sport, and my goal, my lifetime goal, is to fix that. Because I think everybody can be strong if they want to. If you don't want to be strong, however you identify, male, female, it's your choice. But I think there should be resources available for everybody to be strong if they want to. So yeah, I've been vegan for almost 8 years now, and never looked back. Honestly, the first sport for me was bodybuilding, so I competed there, won 7 awards, and then realized that it's not super fulfilling for me to be super lean because I have to restrict my diet, and in powerlifting I don't. So I just eat everything and lift heavy and be strong.
Yeah, sick. So yeah, as long as you're strong and you can lift the weight, it's like yeah, it doesn't matter how lean you are or whatever. Yeah, that's awesome. Just to be clear for everybody, that's like joining or and recently joined, if you've got questions for Katya, like please drop them in the little comment box with the question mark, and I'm sure she'd love to answer them. But six,
Yeah,
you've been
absolutely.
vegan. Sorry, yeah, you said you've been vegan for about 8 years. That's
Almost
awesome.
8 years. Yeah, this spring, I guess, or this summer. Yeah, in the summer. My transition was very gradual. I took about like 2 to 3 months to replace all of the products. I didn't know how to cook tofu. I still don't like beans. So I'm with you. The meat eaters who are watching this were like, beans suck. Yeah, beans suck. I don't like beans very much. They have some good nutrients. So I do eat them every once in a while, but not a huge fan. So I had to learn. I had to learn how to make seitan. I had to learn how to veganize my favorite products. And I have some recipes of high protein foods and things that I figured out on my website as well, if you are curious. And hopefully publishing a cookbook by the end of the year, fingers crossed, with my favorite muscle building vegan recipes.
Very cool. Yeah, that's awesome. What I was like curious to know was like, what was your like vegan journey? What was the thing that like that sparked veganism for you? Explain that to me.
Honestly, so to the meat eaters who are watching, or to the omnivores, I want to say that I understand because I grew up in Russia and everybody here is like, oh, you have to eat meat. Otherwise, like, what are you doing? So I kind of had that mentality, like in a post-Soviet society, we had scarcity, right? So meat was something like that wasn't widely available in the Soviet. And then people treated meat as like something precious, and we when we could eat more meat, we did. But usually when I was growing up, we ate meat maybe 2 or 3 times a week, just because that was what was available and that was the culture. So everybody freaked out back home when I went vegan, and I did
Yeah.
it because of my blood work. So like I said, I was 23. I had a six-pack. I was lifting. I was 140 pounds. I I thought I was the shit. And the paleo fad was kind of starting around there, and I tried it. And I kind of plateaued in building muscle. And I don't think it was related to that. It probably was related to maybe stress or bad program or other things. But they did blood work for us at my job for free. And I was like, okay, sure, free blood work. And it showed that I was borderline heart disease at 23 with a six pack, super defined, super lean. And I was like, what? So
Yeah.
they recommended I go to the doctor, get some drugs because I live in the US. And I was like, no, 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 no. Let's try to just do it with diet, right? Because your blood work changes and your health changes based on what you eat. So I looked up some things. I was already not eating dairy because paleo doesn't, I think it doesn't have dairy. I'm not sure. And I was like super afraid of all the breads and potatoes and carbs. I thought I was going to get like so unhealthy and, all of that. But watched What the Health. I watched Forks Over Knives. Game Changers was not a thing then. And the animal cruelty was just kind of like, I've never even thought about that. I thought the cows were happy running in the fields and,
Yeah.
never thought about what happens to the male chicks. And then I was like, wait, I wouldn't eat my dog. Like, why would I eat other animals then? So I started adding more vegan things into my diet instead of like removing the meat. I was like, let's add tofu and let's add nutritional yeast and let's add non-dairy milks, and let's just I'm for the abundance mindset and not for the restriction mindset as a person who's had eating disorders. So I think if you just add things,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
will kind of naturally drop the meats and the cheeses and other things because you will have enough protein and enough satiety from the new awesome vegan plant-based whole foods that you have added. So that's what I did over the summer. And my triglycerides and my cholesterol went to the normal range after just 8 weeks.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
And then to segue like back into like what you do, like what sort of effect did that then have on you as like, well, so you were a bodybuilder at the time, not a
I was,
powerlifter, right?
yeah, I was doing bodybuilding at the time, and I started competing after that. Actually, I was vegan for a couple of years, and then I started competing in bodybuilding. Yeah.
Very cool. What I'm like super curious to know then is like, what has it been like then over the years being a vegan in these spaces like bodybuilding, powerlifting? Like, what do your peers like say about it? What's it like? Do you get a hard time? What's it been like?
Um, yeah, they can laugh about it. Like, if I bring vegan cookies, everybody's gonna eat them,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
not really question it. But um,
It hasn't been so
why are people so
difficult.
mean in the comments?
Oh, don't worry, we can get to that. So, like, if anybody has some rebuttals or if you've got some concerns, like, please put them in the comment. There's a little in it. If you drop it in there, me and Katya will get to that
Yeah,
later on.
yeah. Anyways, the bodybuilding and powerlifting spaces are pretty supportive, so I don't think anybody gives a shit what you eat and how you do. And thank
Yeah.
you. Somebody says, "Fuck them, you're doing great." I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's very hard to compete and to be competitive. So, in the backstage when everybody's applying tan and pumping out for stage, it's like no, everybody's eating peanut butter and Oreos, and those things are naturally vegan.
Mm,
People can eat oatmeal and like rice cakes; those are also vegan. So it's like nobody's hanging out there eating a turkey leg. You know what I mean? So like that doesn't come up really like at all. It doesn't really come up in the gym because you come to the gym to train. You don't come to the gym to eat. Only if you make friends with the
yeah.
people from the gym and then go to the restaurants, then it comes up because where are we going to go? Oh, we have to go to a place with vegan options. Okay, cool. And that's about it. But like all of the laughs and questions really drop when you beat the omnivores and the meat eaters, you know, in a tested
Yeah,
competition, right?
yeah.
So
So tell us about the accolades you've picked up as a vegan powerlifter, please.
say that again.
Tell us about the accolades that you've picked up as a vegan powerlifter.
Sorry, I couldn't
Oh,
hear.
I'm so sorry. Tell me about the victories, accolades, the things that you've achieved as a
The
vegan
accolades. Okay,
powerlifter.
gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha,
yeah.
gotcha. Yes, 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 definitely. Yeah, so my
Mm-hmm.
latest competition, I won the best lifter in North Carolina States Championships.
Yep, yep.
That was a drug-tested, sanctioned USAPL event, one of the biggest events in North Carolina. And my total would have qualified me for the Worlds if I weighed a little bit less, but I competed in a 75 kilo weight category. So I still need a little bit more to go to the Worlds. And I'm just going to wait and build until I am confident that I can perform at a really solid level. I've qualified for the Nationals 2 years ago and went, and it was like, cool, whatever. It's not very hard to qualify for the Nationals, so it's like anybody, it's not anybody can go. Most strong people who have been diligently training can go.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I'm shooting for the next level now, and of course I will compete with the plant-built vegan strong team in October, which is the largest vegan athletic team in the world. You guys should follow them on IG. I will probably do collaboration posts with them soon, so you can follow me to keep up with the news of where we're gonna go, who's on the team, how we're gonna crush it. The team is really big this year. It's really awesome. We are gonna have powerlifters, bodybuilders, CrossFitters, kettlebell sport, strong men, strong women, maybe Olympic lifting if that is present at the Mr. America event. It is an expo and one of the biggest natural events in the world, in case you guys don't know. So there is a reason why the team doesn't do like Olympia and Arnold. Like we had a booth at the Arnold, but we didn't compete because the majority of the events there are not tested, and we want to only go to the tested events to support
Yeah.
the natural vegan athlete kind of image. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm for October.
Yeah. And a vegan would just get like 500 times like worse of a time off people if it was if it wasn't like a tested event, like in comparison to an omnivore. Like it's super unfair. But when you won this championship, like did the competitors know that you were a vegan? Like was there any
Yeah.
comment about it at all?
Yes, yes. I came in with a huge bag that had Vegan Strong on
Right.
it,
Yeah.
and I was giving away high protein recipes, and people are like, "Oh, wait, you're vegan? What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, and like, yeah, I could never be vegan." I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. Could you? Does this like this is? They're like, what do you eat? Where do you get your protein? What do you eat?" And I'm like, "Does this recipe look good? Like, you can just keep it." So the books had the protein scorecard, sample meals, sample nutrition plans for less and more calories, depending if you're like a smaller or bigger person. And people could just experiment with those instead of asking me the same dumbass question every time. Where you get protein? Where you get protein? It's like,
Yeah.
that's all people want to hear about lately, even though if you just type that into Google, it is extremely easy to get protein.
Yeah, for
Like,
real.
extremely.
Yeah, for real. And then you proceed to outlift them, so absolutely epic.
But we can also answer this on the live today. If people are wondering what the hell I eat, I literally posted what I eat in a day yesterday on my YouTube channel, so people can see exactly what I eat
Yeah.
if they want to. But we can also discuss that if people want.
Yeah, awesome. I wanted to ask actually, you were talking about the worlds, right? Like, are there vegans in that space? Yeah.
Yes, yes, there are a lot of athletes on the world level, depending on the sport. You have to qualify first. You have to be in the federation that goes to the worlds. It's not just at the national level. You have to qualify, stay qualified, and then go. So I do not keep tabs on all of these guys,
Yeah.
but I know, like on Plant Built Vegan Strong team, Veronica. I forgot her last name. She is our strong woman, Canada's strongest woman. She went to the Worlds. Angelina, her Instagram name is Angie Athlete Coach. Angelina Breva. She's French strongest woman. She went to the Worlds in strong woman, and she actually just won her first natural physique show as well. So she's a dual athlete, just like me, bodybuilder and powerlifter. Well, in her case, bodybuilder and strong woman. Shelly Seitzer Beecham, my good friend from Seattle. Hey, Shelly, if you're watching. She went to the Worlds. She won. She was an undefeated WNBF Pro figure, and then physique, women's physique. From powerlifters, Nick Squires and Ryan Stills went to IPL Worlds. Katie Grosskopf is shooting to go next year. So lots of vegans. It's just if you don't know, then some of them are not very like popular on social media because they don't give a shit. They just lift for fun and
Yeah.
go compete. So if you don't hear vegans yelling, "I'm at the world level," that doesn't mean they don't exist.
Yeah. No, it was just like, I don't know much about the space, so I really wanted to ask. And by the sounds of it, man, like the vegans are taking over, as you said. Like, there's a lot of national champions that are vegan. Like, this is just really cool
Exactly.
to hear that, man.
Everybody knows
So
that the United States Olympic weightlifter is vegan. The huge black guy with a beard, just the most manliest man, he's vegan.
oh, cool. Yeah, it's awesome, man. Like, I feel like the tides are really shifting, like, as far as like people's perceptions on them.
Yeah, definitely.
I wanted to ask, like, what do you sort of want to achieve? Like, what would look like a successful career to you? Yeah, let me know.
Like a successful powerlifting career, or
Yeah, yeah. Like,
Hmm.
what do you want to achieve in that space? And you can say, like,
Oh
yeah.
man, I need to reveal my plans. That's
All
like
right. Yeah.
such intimate information to me. Okay, I have to spill some beans to you. I have to spill some beans. Okay, a
You don't
successful
even like
powerlifting.
beans.
I don't even like beans, so I'm gonna spill them. I'm gonna spill them.
Yeah.
Okay, so a successful powerlifting career for me is adding an adequate amount uh, in total every year or every half year, however often I compete. So from last year, I added 50 kilos in total, which is insane. Or no, from 2 years ago, I've added 50 kilos. So I'm adding about like 50 pounds a year on the barbell, which I think is pretty dope. I had a 100 kilogram bench at the gym. At the meet, I benched 95 kilos because I was paused. At the gym, I don't bench paused always. So when I got 100 kilo, I was like, oh my God, it's 100
Oh
kilos on the
yeah,
bar.
I
It's such a
seen that.
beautiful bar. It's 220 pounds. Like, holy shit, that's been such a goal. So yeah, I mean, I want to deadlift 200 kilos. I want to squat 200 kilos. Right now, my squat is 180. My deadlift is 190. I think 190. Yeah, at the last competition. So yeah, pretty close, but progress is slow. Progress, it definitely gets slower. As you get to the peak level, you're gonna reach closer and closer to your um, genetic potential. And if you don't want to use performance enhancing drugs, steroids, etc., then you have to just fall in love with the grind and marry the fact that your progress is going to get incrementally, infuriatingly slow. And you need to just keep doing it and keep showing up, because if you don't, then you regress.
Yeah, it's like that, right? Like, I guess there's no like magical thing that's gonna get you there other than like super hard work, like vegan or non-vegan, right?
Yeah, I would say the diet doesn't matter as much, vegan, not vegan. Recovery is probably better because I have more fiber, more micronutrients, and my longevity is going to be better. No saturated fat, things like that. But programming wise, vegan, not vegan, it doesn't matter. You all go and lift the barbell that is made of steel. So, like,
Yeah,
nobody's watching what you eat, really.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Sick, awesome. And now I kind of want to touch on something that you like. Yeah, you touched on earlier about how I think this happens to like a lot of people. I had a plant-based phase, and for me, it was like for me, it was an environmental concern, right?
yes,
And then
yes, I'm a huge environmentalist, for sure.
yeah, and then through that, like through those experiences, it like it's almost inevitable that you come across like the ethical like concept of veganism and realize like,
Definitely.
oh damn, like, and you want to identify with veganism. And you touched on earlier on, like you touched on the ethical thing. So I wanted to know,
Yes.
like, has that been something that's been important to you? Is it something that you think about, talk to others about? How does that play into it all?
I have started doing protests against foie gras in Durham, North Carolina. We still have 3 restaurants that serve foie gras. So we came there with loudspeakers and posters and just had the um, the signs of like uh, this is what geese go through,
Yeah.
and pictures. And when people walked in and out of the restaurants, we were like, "Would you do this to your dog? Like, why do you do this to geese?" And we went to the Earth festivals that were all around Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, and talked to people, talked to kids who saw, gosh, what was this movie? It's basically a silent movie about, with just animal screams about how like the camera's on like animal eyes level, and you just walk through like slaughterhouses and cages and things, like see it through their eyes. I forgot the name of the movie,
I've
but
not
anyways, we talked.
seen that. I haven't seen that, I don't think.
I don't want to see it, but we talked to kids
Yeah.
who were made to watch it in school, and none of them went vegan after it, and we were like, what? So anyways, we talked to a lot of interesting folks at the Earth Festival. Most of, like half of them at least, were vegetarian already. So we were asking like, okay, what do you like to eat? And they'd be like, well, chicken. And they'd be like, and we'd be like, okay, do you know that in order to produce your chicken, uh, you have to put chicks in these tight cages, and even if it's free range, they usually don't even have room to move around. Do you know what happens to male chicks? And did you know that the chicken's egg is basically their period? And do you know that the majority, like if people say, I like fish, and we'd be like, okay, do you know that the majority of the plastic waste in the ocean, like 72% or something, is discarded fisherman gear?
Yeah.
And they'd be like, eh.
Yeah.
So we would, talk to them about where to go out to eat in local restaurants, and I would give them more vegan recipes, or they would like follow me on IG and ask me a question later when they would think about it. So it's really nice going to protests and talking to people about it, and going to just, activism events. But the majority of my activism is through my sport, for sure.
Yeah, that's so cool. I had no idea that you'd like partake in that stuff, man. That's so awesome. Um I'd like to sort of like link it into a question then, and apologies to put you on the spot, but there's no wrong answer with it, of course. But what would you say to somebody if you were trying to convince them to go vegan? Say you had like 30 seconds to a minute to try and convince someone to go vegan. What would you say to them?
Trying to convert somebody to a vegan?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, when it's like a stranger, it's tough. I think asking questions is really good, because just saying like, do this or why do you do that is
Oh
like,
yeah.
I'm past the angry stage of veganism. I was pretty angry in the beginning, and I was like, do you know, like the cows die for this cheese, like
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
calves have been taken away from their mothers. They have been raped. If you're a feminist, you cannot be eating dairy. If you're an environmentalist, you cannot be not vegan. And people should be like, okay.
Yeah.
So like, I know a lot of smart people, I went to Duke, and I know a lot of smart people who are still not vegan, and I don't have the conversations like that with them, because that's just disrespectful. So I think all we can do is talk about, okay, this is a new vegan restaurant that opened. It's really cool. Or, okay, like, what's your favorite, blah, meat, cheese, dairy? Oh, okay. Do you know So Delicious is a really nice brand of ice cream that is vegan, that is similar to like whatever you like already. So that's my favorite. Maybe you can try that. So just kind of inspire people to switch to cruelty-free makeup and brands and body lotions, and offering them like specifics, brands, things to buy, places to go, things to do that are more vegan friendly. Go to a sanctuary. Don't go to a zoo. Go actually play with your ducks and turkeys. Don't go to a zoo. Fuck the zoo, kind of thing.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And I mean, like, obviously for yourself, letting people know that you're living vegan, and embodying that obviously is just going to, as far as like the majority of people's concerns, they're usually around whether you can even be healthy. And obviously you're pushing that past to a point of like more optimal. Because
Yeah.
people are not like, that's what people are mostly concerned with it, and then once they
Health.
realize that, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, once they realize the ethical components of like why it's wrong to support other sorts of abuse, I think that's a bit easier. But yeah, you're embodying that obviously, and doing amazing things. So I think it's time to like jump in to see what the audience have got for you, man. Like, let's have a look,
Okay.
a little look,
Okay.
and
Let's do it. Let's do
yeah,
it.
everyone that's here, like, if you do have a question for someone who's vegan and is a powerlifting champion, like, now's your chance. So first of all, not a question related whatsoever to your sport, but are perfumes made from animals? Can we use them? Do you know anything about that?
I have one perfume that I use that is forever old, and I have been gifted that, so I don't know what it's been made of, but I hope not animals. I think it's like alcohol and flower essences and oils, but I could be
Yeah,
mistaken. I did not check that perfume because I just assumed it was vegan, so nobody's perfect.
yeah,
I do some things, and I still will get vaccinated even though I am vegan. I still will get, even though that's not vegan, but that's like better for humanity as a whole, so I guess like, yeah.
yeah, yeah. There's absolutely some like complex issues with it. The problem is with these sorts of things, right? If they're not labeled as vegan and they haven't been transparent about the fact that they're a vegan product, it's like you can only then act on what you know. If you're worried about something not being vegan, I would say to this person, like, if you're worried about something not being vegan, like, it's not a need, so just don't purchase it if it's a concern.
Right.
Um, but we can only act on what we actually know, right?
Yeah.
Um, as I said to you before, obviously we don't have a huge like sports-based audience. I
We can
expecting
talk
to.
activism. We can talk food.
Yeah, if you've got any questions for Katya about like obviously how well, I'll ask you this question, right? There's some serious like mixed information around the importance of protein versus calories when it comes to like getting bigger, getting stronger. Like, some people say protein isn't that important, other people say it's insanely important and you need to get like the 2 grams per, what is it, kilo of body weight. Like, what's your perception on the like protein versus calories thing? Like, that's a question you could answer.
Yes. Okay. Okay. That's a great question, Kenny. Um, if you are at maintenance, if you are not trying to lose body fat, if you are not cutting calories via dietary restrictions or adding activity such as more cardio and more steps, more lifting, then you can eat less protein. Like, I don't eat as much protein. I probably eat like 140 to 160 grams of protein a day. And if it's less, and okay, I ate less on some day and I don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Then if I am cutting, I will keep my protein the same and I will drop the fats usually. The majority of my clients, if we drop the fats, they will start losing body fat unless they have been very restricted with fats in the past, or unless they're like a super tiny human being already eating like 30 grams of fat a day. So that's a different story. In terms of the amino acid composition of plant-based proteins, soy is just as bioavailable as whey. So real men eat soy. Remember that. You can make a
Yeah.
meme with that with my face and like, I don't know, biceps saying real man eat soy,
Real many
because
soy. Yeah.
it's true. The soy gimmick has been I think made up in like the 80s or something, where there was a man treated for um, some disease, and in the end he was drinking like only soy milk, like a gallon or whatever, or 2 gallons of soy milk a day, I don't know. And he started developing whatever the condition that was related to his disease, not related to soy milk, and people just blew that story up. So my friend Brady Crandall writes about that story in the Vegan Machine book. I highly recommend it. He's another vegan powerlifter on my team. He competes as a strongman now. So yeah, highly recommend you get Brady Crandall's The Living Machine book, and he will also break it down about the soy and the protein. But long story short, your amino acid composition of proteins from different plants during the day adds up to a complete amino acid profile if you just eat a variety of foods.
Yeah.
So you don't need to worry about eating a perfect amino acid composition in one meal.
Yeah.
Variety in a day, and you will be just fine.
Yeah. And would it be fair to say this, right? Because this is a perception I have on that subject. Like, would it be fair to say, so like a meat eater thinks of, or non-vegan, however you would like to frame it.
Omnivore.
Someone who eats animals would
We can say
think
omnivore.
about omnivores. Yeah, someone who would think about their protein coming from animals. They think about it coming from like one place, and I think they often will compare that to one
Yes.
protein source from
Yeah,
a
I
vegan.
wouldn't compare one source. Compare a
Yeah.
meal. So
Yeah.
in my vegan powerlifting starter guide book, you can download it for free in my bio. You can see a couple examples of meal plans to get enough protein, enough amino acids throughout the day. So you don't need to worry about that. And you can also see the lysine, foods high in lysine, which is the amino acid that meat eaters really, really worry about. That is hard to get as a vegan. You can supplement with it, or you can just eat fake meats, tofu, pumpkin seeds, peanuts, and you'll get enough lysine. There's no need to worry about it. So if you think you could be low on like whatever amino acid, track your food for a couple of days and you can see, okay, I'm low on like lysine. Let me eat, I don't know, a handful of peanuts and then I'm going to be fine. Because the same problem can face you as a meat eater as well. If you eat chicken on top of chicken on top of chicken, then you eat the same stuff, the same amino acids, your gut biodiversity goes down and
Right.
similar issues.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. And next question here says, did you calculate your protein needs based on your total body weight or your lean body weight?
Yeah, lean body weight, 1.6 grams.
Cool.
Yeah.
Got some more questions like geared towards you here. How do you manage not over consuming fiber? When consuming plant-based proteins, I eat so many legumes.
Legumes are great. Legumes are incredible. And I have only met two people who've had problems with fiber. One of them had a gut condition, and she could not have fiber because that was flaring up. And another women in short hair is awesome. I like that comment. Thank you. I love my short hair. It's actually very long now. I'm gonna cut it immediately when I land, like that day. It's so long. Okay, so how do you manage to not overconsume fiber? I actually want to make shirts that say, "Where do you get fiber, bro?" Because I always get the "Where do you get your protein?" kind of thing, and I want to make sure, just to be annoying, if people ask me about my protein, I'm going to be like, "Where do you get your fiber?" So I do not eat as many legumes as you, Kevin, kind cook, and I probably eat legumes like twice a week. They're amazing. You just kind of forget to cook them, and like now I'm traveling, so whatever I can find at the airport, and some protein shakes that I pre brought with me. Right, I brought some vegan proteins.
Nice little sashes.
Yeah,
That's cool.
exactly. I just got these for free at some veg fest. Like I don't even not the best brand, but they're prepackaged. Anyways, if you have problem with consuming too much fiber, you can consume higher density foods. Just watch your fats. For example, you can consume more tofu, more. Some vegans don't like it, processed foods such as fake meats. So if you are super against fake meats, you can do tofu, tempeh, edamame, nutritional yeast. What else? Soy milks and soy yogurts. That will get you enough protein without over consuming fiber. But eat your legumes still. Legumes are amazing.
Yeah, that's it. For sure. I wanted to ask you then, since we don't have any more questions from the audience, like, is there something that you want to leave them with. And by the way, everybody that's here, like, we'll post this and point you towards Katya so you can continue watching her journey. See if you get to the Worlds as a vegan. That'd be so awesome. But yeah, is there anything that you want to like sort of leave us with?
Okay, let's see. What do I want to ask the audience or leave the audience thinking about? Uh, I I want to tell all of the non-vegans who are watching this that if you think like, oh, where are all the vegan athletes? Where are they? Like the amount of vegans in the planet is what, 1%, and the amount of athletes is, I don't know, what's the percentage of population of the whole planet that are athletes?
Yeah.
Those two circles overlapping is why you have a very little amount of vegan athletes, is because not all vegans are interested in pursuing a sport competitively. And there's nothing wrong with that. Not all omnivores are interested in pursuing a sport competitively either.
Yeah.
So everybody develops their own hobbies. But I think it's a pretty fun one. You get to meet other strong people. You get to show off what you have been working really, really hard towards for the whole year. And people be like, oh, yeah, what do you eat? How do you get so strong? Well, consistency over time, just lifting for many, many, many years. What am I drinking? I'm drinking green tea, but I need to get more green tea. I drank all of it. I'm addicted to green tea. So, yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So, like, because, so what you mean is, like, because people say there isn't many vegans in it because they're not capable. That's what you're saying. It's not because they're not capable. It's just a rule of numbers thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, not everybody's interested. Not everybody's genetically gifted. You could be vegan, but your genetics could be better for whatever the sport that you're not doing. So, for example, I tried bodybuilding, and my genetics was okay for that, but I'm definitely a better strength athlete rather than a physique athlete. And just consider that when you try a sport. You know, you maybe have really good endurance, or you may be a really good sprinter, and that applies to everything, right? You may like languages more than, I don't know, mathematics, and there's nothing wrong with that. So respect people's preferences and like leave everybody alone, but do try sports until you find something. You will definitely find dancing, solo sports, team sports, doesn't matter. You'll find something that you like.
Yeah, for sure, man. And that's it, right? You can do, vegans are literally capable of anything. And I think if you're proving something, you're proving that. So that's awesome. Thank you so much for like joining me for a little bit and sharing your story. Really, really appreciate it. And yeah, as I said to everyone, I'll point you all towards Katya so you can see if she gets to that Worlds, man. Let's do it. And
Yeah.
enjoy your time in Russia.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I will try to film some vlogs when I'm in Russia because there's definitely a lot more vegan food over there than there was like 5 years ago. 5 years ago, there was impossible to find even like tofu. They called it soy cheese, which was like so offensive to me. I was like, what the hell is wrong with you? Don't call my tofu cheese. But it's actually really good in Russia. Like it's kind of smoky usually. And
Oh,
I'm happy with that.
awesome.
So yeah, maybe we'll get some vlogs from me eating in weird Russian restaurants or just walking around the street and things like
Munching
that.
that soy cheese. Awesome. Well, yeah, thanks so much for joining. I appreciate it and enjoy the rest of your day, Katya. Thanks so much. Right?
Amazing. Please save this live.
Yeah,
I would like
absolutely,
for it saved.
absolutely.
Which
Yeah, so everyone can follow along with you. Yeah, we'll get it saved up. Peace,
sweet.
right?
Thank
Enjoy
you,
the rest of
Kenny,
your day.
and thank you for inviting me.
Oh, you're so
Have a
welcome.
wonderful day.
You're so welcome.
Bye, guys.
Bye bye.